My beloved soul, stop for a moment, because what is happening right now is not ordinary, and it is not a coincidence that you are hearing this message at this exact second. There is a divine interruption taking place in your life, and it carries a weight that cannot be ignored. You may have been scrolling, distracted, or even feeling too tired to care anymore, but heaven has just stepped into your timeline. This moment was written before you ever felt this exhaustion, before you ever reached this breaking point. And now, on July 19th, a message is being released with urgency, precision, and power. Archangel Michael is not distant right now. He is near, closer than you think, carrying a declaration that has your name on it. This is not for the crowd. This is not for everyone. This is for the one who have been silently pouring out, giving more than they had, holding on when everything inside them wanted to let go. You have been strong for too long. You have carried weight that no one truly understands. And somewhere along the way, you started to feel like your strength was fading, like your oil was running dangerously low. But hear this clearly. Your oil will not run dry. There is something supernatural about to unfold, something that does not follow the rules of this world. You may look at your current state and think there's nothing left to give, nothing left to restore, nothing left to hold on to. But heaven is not measuring you by what you see. Heaven is responding to something deeper, something eternal, something that had been building quietly behind the scenes. Every tear you thought went unnoticed, every moment you pushed through exhaustion, every silent prayer whispered in weakness, it has all been recorded, and it has all led to this very hour. This is the moment where depletion meets divine intervention. You were not meant to collapse here. You were not meant to end in this place of weariness. What feels like the end is actually the edge of something powerful, something rare, something that only happens when heaven decides it is time to step in personally. And that time is now. There is a shift happening that you cannot fully see yet, but you can feel it if you pay attention. It is subtle, yet undeniable. It is like the air has changed, like something heavy is beginning to lift, like a quiet strength is rising from within you even as you listen. That is not your imagination. That is the beginning of replenishment. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this transition, as a protector and a messenger, ensuring that what is being released to you is not interrupted, not stolen, not delayed. This is a direct delivery from heaven, and it carries a promise that cannot be broken. You may be asking, why now? Why me? And that question is exactly where the mystery begins to unfold. Because this moment was not randomly chosen. There is a reason July 19th has been marked, a reason your spirit is being stirred right now, a reason this message found you instead of passing you by. Stay with this. Do not look away. Because what is about to be revealed next will change how you see your exhaustion, your struggle, and everything you thought was slipping away. There is something about this past season that felt unusually heavy, almost as if the weight you were carrying did not belong to just one moment, but to many layers of your life all pressing down at once. You kept moving. You kept showing up. You kept giving. Even when your energy was fading and your heart was growing tired. To others, it may have looked like you were managing, like you were holding everything together. But deep inside, there was a quiet exhaustion that words could not fully explain. It was not just physical tiredness. It was something deeper, something spiritual, something that made you question how much longer you could keep going like this. You gave your time, your energy, your care, your patience. You poured into situations, into people, into responsibilities that seemed to demand more than you had left to give. And the hardest part was not the giving itself. It was the silence that followed. the lack of recognition, the absence of immediate results, the feeling that you were pouring out and not being refilled. It made you wonder if anyone truly saw what you were going through, or if your efforts were simply disappearing into emptiness. But heaven saw everything. Not one moment of your struggle was wasted or ignored. Every act of endurance, every time you chose to stand when it would have been easier to fall, every moment you resisted giving up, it has all been carefully witnessed. What felt invisible to the world has been fully visible in the spiritual realm. And the truth that is now being revealed is this: your exhaustion was never meaningless. It was part of a process, a hidden preparation that was shaping you for something greater than you could see at the time. This season was not a punishment. It was not a sign that you were abandoned or forgotten. It was a refining period, one that stretched you beyond your comfort, beyond your limits, and into a space where only divine strength could sustain you. You were learning how to keep going even when your own strength was no longer enough. You were being trained, not in comfort, but in resilience. Not in ease, but in endurance. And yet, even in that truth, there were moments when you felt like you were running on empty. Moments when your thoughts became heavier, when your spirit felt drained, when even small tasks seemed overwhelming. You may have questioned your direction, your purpose, or even your ability to continue. You may have wondered if this constant pouring out would ever lead to something meaningful, or if it would simply leave you completely depleted. This is where the shift begins. Because what you did not realize is that there was a limit placed on this season. There was a point where heaven would say, enough. A point where the pouring out would be met with a supernatural pouring in. And that point has now been reached. The timeline has shifted, and what was once a season of depletion is now becoming a moment of divine replenishment. Archangel Michael has been present even in the unseen moments, guarding you in ways you did not recognize, ensuring that despite the pressure, you did not break beyond repair. There were things that could have completely drained you, things that could have taken everything from you, but they were held back. You were sustained in ways that did not always feel obvious, but they were real nonetheless. And now, as this message reaches you, you are standing at the edge of a transition. The exhaustion you have carried is not the final chapter. It is the closing of one phase and the opening of another. The same place that felt like a desert is about to become a place of renewal. Something has shifted in the spiritual realm, and it is no longer about how much you have left to give. It is about what is now being released to restore you. Listen closely, because what is being revealed now is not something your logical mind can fully measure. The oil being spoken over your life in this moment is not ordinary. It is not limited by human effort, and it is not dependent on your current level of strength. This oil is spiritual. It represents your anointing, your provision, your inner endurance, your divine capacity to keep going when everything around you says you should stop. And right now, there is a supernatural law being activated over you. Your oil will not run dry. In the natural world, when something is poured out continuously, it eventually empties. That is the rule you have been living under. You give, you serve, you endure, and eventually, you feel drained. But heaven does not operate under the same rules. There is a higher law, one that overrides limitation, one that sustains what should have been depleted. This is the law that is being applied to your life right now. What should have run out will continue to flow. What should have been empty will begin to refill. Think about the moments when you felt like you had nothing left, yet somehow you still found the strength to move forward. That was not just your willpower. That was a glimpse of this supernatural oil at work within you. It has been quietly sustaining you even in your lowest moments. But now, is no longer going to operate in the background. It is stepping into the forefront, becoming visible, tangible, undeniable. Archangel Michael is releasing a declaration over your life that shifts everything. You are no longer in a cycle of depletion. You are stepping into a flow of divine replenishment. This means that as you pour out, you will also be filled. As you give, you will receive. As you move forward, strength will meet you in each step. This is not something you have to chase. It is something that is being activated within you. There is a powerful imagery that aligns with this moment, a vessel that keeps being filled no matter how much is poured out. That is what you are becoming, not because of your own ability, but because of the divine source that is now flowing through you. This is why you cannot measure your future based on your current exhaustion. Your current state does not define your capacity. What defines you now is the source that is being connected to you. You may have believed that you needed rest before you could feel strong again. And while rest has its place, what is happening here goes beyond physical recovery. This is a spiritual renewal that does not wait for perfect conditions. It begins right in the middle of your weariness. It starts even before you feel ready. It flows into the places that felt empty and begins to fill them from within. This is why something inside you is starting to shift even as you hear these words. It is subtle, but it is real. It is like a spark being reignited, like a quiet energy returning, like hope rising again where it once felt distant. That is the oil beginning to flow again, not in small drops, but in a steady, unending stream. And here is what you must understand. This oil cannot be taken from you. It cannot be blocked by circumstances, and it cannot be drained by people. What comes from heaven carries a protection around it. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over this release, ensuring that what is given to you remains with you. This is a secured blessing, a protected flow, a divine inheritance that is now active in your life. So even if your body still feels tired, even if your mind still carries some heaviness, something deeper is already changing. Your spirit is being replenished first, and from there, everything else will begin to align. Strength will return. Clarity will return. Peace will return. Not all at once, but in a steady, undeniable progression. This is the moment where you stop identifying yourself as empty and begin to recognize that you are being filled again. Not by your own effort, but by a source that never runs out. If you feel this stirring within you, if something in your spirit is responding to this truth, then do not stay silent. Type my OIL will not RUNDRY in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 739 is being activated over your life right now. And as this oil begins to flow, understand this. This message is not just reaching you by chance. It is reaching many who are standing on the edge of breakthrough, many who are desperate for renewal, many who are waiting for confirmation that they have not been forgotten. If your spirit is moved to be part of this flow, then step into that calling. I am a vessel of divine flow, and I choose to release so others may receive. As it is written, give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not just a verse. It is a living promise speaking over you now. When you release, you activate a greater return. When you sow into this mission, you become part of the oil that reaches the weary and restores the broken. There are links in the description and a QR code placed for those who feel led to act in this moment. This is not just support. It is participation in a divine movement. Step into it now and let your giving become a flow that never runs dry. There are moments in time that carry more weight than others, moments that are not random, not accidental, but deliberately marked by heaven itself. July 19th is one of those moments. It is not just another day passing on the calendar. It is a point of alignment, a spiritual intersection, where what had been building behind the scenes is now stepping into visibility. And the most important truth you must understand right now is this: you were chosen to be part of this moment. You may not feel chosen. You may not see anything around you that reflects that kind of significance. In fact, your current circumstances may feel completely opposite, uncertain, exhausting, even discouraging. But divine selection does not depend on how things look on the outside. It is not based on perfection, status, or how strong you feel today. It is based on something deeper, something that has been seen in you long before this moment arrived. There is a reason this message found you. Out of countless voices, countless distractions, countless paths you could have taken, you are here, hearing this now. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. Heaven does not move without intention, and this encounter has been arranged with precision. You are not listening to this by chance. You are receiving it because your spirit was meant to connect with it at this exact time. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this divine appointment. His presence is not symbolic. It is active, intentional, and protective. He has been assigned to ensure that this message reaches you clearly, without interference, without distortion. There have been forces that tried to distract you, to delay you, to keep you from arriving at this very point of awareness. But they did not succeed. You are here now, and that alone is proof that something greater has been guiding your steps. This is what it means to be chosen in a moment like this. Not that life has been easy, not that you have had all the answers, but that despite everything, you are still standing, still listening, still open. That openness is what allows heaven to move in your life in ways that others may miss. While some turn away, you stayed. While some gave up, you held on. And that persistence, even when it felt small, has brought you into alignment with this exact release. There is also something else happening beneath the surface. A timing that has been quietly unfolding is now reaching its appointed point. Think of it like a door that has been closed for a long time, not because it was denied to you, but because it was waiting for the right moment to open. That moment is now arriving. The delay was never rejection, it was preparation. And now, the preparation has reached completion. This is why you may begin to feel a shift, even if nothing external has changed yet. A sense that something is different. A quiet awareness that something is beginning to move. This is the effect of divine timing coming into alignment. It does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes, it begins as a subtle inner knowing that grows stronger with each passing moment. You are not late. You have not missed your chance. You are not behind. You are exactly where you are meant to be in this unfolding process. And what is being released to you now is not delayed anymore. The same heaven that watched you endure is now responding with intention and precision. Archangel Michael's role in this moment is also one of protection. As this new phase begins, there is a covering being placed over you. Distractions that once held power will begin to lose their grip. Confusion that once clouded your mind will begin to clear. You are being positioned not just to receive, but to recognize what you are receiving. That clarity is part of the blessing. So as you stand in this moment, understand that this is not just about what is coming to you. It is about who you are becoming. You are stepping into a space where divine provision meets divine purpose, where your replenishment is not just for survival, but for transformation. Heaven chose this moment, and heaven chose you to receive it. There is a powerful image being released over your life right now, an image that carries deep spiritual meaning and undeniable truth. is the image of the eagle. Not a bird struggling on the ground, not something bound by limitations, but a creature designed to rise above storms, to soar where others cannot reach, to move with strength that does not come from force, but from alignment with the wind. This is the kind of strength that is now being awakened within you. For too long, you have felt like you were walking through resistance, pushing forward with effort, trying to hold yourself together while everything around you seemed to pull you down. But the strength that is coming to you now is different. It is not about pushing harder. It is about rising higher. It is not about surviving the storm at ground level. It is about lifting above it entirely. This is what it means when it is declared that your strength will be renewed like the eagle's. An eagle does not fight the storm the way other creatures do. When the winds begin to rise, when the storm begins to form, the eagle does something unexpected. It uses the very force of the storm to lift itself higher. What others see as resistance, the eagle sees as opportunity. What others fear, the eagle rides. And this is exactly what is beginning to happen in your life. The pressures you have faced, the exhaustion you have endured, the moments that felt like they were breaking you, they are now becoming the very forces that will lift you. Not by your own effort, but by a divine shift that changes how those forces interact with you. You are no longer beneath them. You are being lifted above them. There is also a deeper transformation that happens with the eagle, something that many do not see. At a certain point in its life, the eagle goes through a renewal process. It retreats, it sheds what is old, what is worn, what can no longer sustain it. And in that process, it may appear weak, hidden, even withdrawn. But that is not the end of its strength. It is the preparation for a new level of it. This reflects the season you have just come through. You may have felt withdrawn, disconnected, not as strong or as active as you once were. There may have been moments when you questioned why you could not move the way you used to, why things felt slower, heavier, more difficult. But what you did not realize is that you were in a renewal phase. You were shedding what could not go with you into the next level. You were being prepared, even in the silence, even in the stillness. And now, that preparation is giving way to emergence. Strength is not just returning, it is being redefined within you. It is becoming more stable, more grounded, more aligned with something greater than your own effort. You will begin to notice it in small ways at first. A clarity in your thoughts, a steadiness in your emotions, a quiet confidence that was not there before. And then, as it continues to build, it will become undeniable. You will no longer respond to challenges the way you used to. Things that once strained you will no longer have the same effect. Situations that once overwhelmed you will begin to feel manageable, even insignificant. This is not because those things have changed, it is because you have. Archangel Michael is actively present in this transformation, ensuring that as you rise, you are also protected. Just as the eagle soars with precision and awareness, you are being guided with a clarity that will keep you from falling back into old patterns. There is a sharpening happening in your discernment, an awakening in your perception. You will begin to see things differently, respond differently, move differently. And perhaps the most powerful part of this transformation is this: you will not have to force it. This rising will feel natural, almost effortless at times, because it is aligned with who you are becoming. It is not something you are striving to reach. It is something you are growing into. The same way the eagle was created to soar, you are being restored to operate at a higher level, a level where strength is not temporary, but sustained. So if you have been feeling like you are at your lowest, understand this clearly. You are not at your end. You are at the turning point where your strength, begins to rise in a way you have never experienced before. You are not meant to stay grounded in exhaustion. You are meant to rise above it. There was a moment, perhaps more than one, when you felt like you had reached your limit. A point where continuing felt almost impossible, where the weight you were carrying became too much to ignore. You may have held it together on the outside, but inside, something was beginning to crack. Your strength felt stretched thin, your patience worn down, your hope flickering. It was not loud or dramatic. It was quiet, subtle, but deeply real. A breaking point. And in that moment, you may have wondered if this was the end of your ability to keep going. But what you could not see then is what is being revealed to you now. That breaking point was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to transition you. There is a sacred pattern that unfolds in moments like these. When human strength reaches its limit, it creates an opening, an invitation for something greater to step in. Not because you failed, not because you were not strong enough, but because you were never meant to carry everything on your own. That breaking point was the place where your reliance shifted from your own effort to divine intervention. You were not collapsing. You were being repositioned. Think about how long you held on before that moment came. How much you carried without complaining. How many times you chose to keep going when it would have been easier to walk away. That kind of endurance does not go unnoticed. It leads to a moment where heaven responds, not with silence, but with action. And that action often begins right at the edge of what feels like breaking. This is why what you experienced was so intense. It was not just pressure. It was transformation under pressure. It was the stretching of your capacity, the refining of your inner strength, the preparation for a level of support and replenishment that could not have been released before. There is something powerful about reaching a point where you can no longer rely on yourself the same way. It forces a shift. It breaks patterns of overexertion, of carrying too much, of trying to control everything. It opens the door for surrender, not as a sign of weakness, but as a gateway to something stronger. And in that surrender, something changes. You may not have recognized it immediately. It may have felt like you were simply letting go because you had no other choice. But in that moment, heaven stepped in. The very place where you thought you were losing control became the place where divine control began to take over. Archangel Michael was present in that moment, even if you did not see it, guarding you, holding the line where you could not, ensuring that what felt like a collapse did not turn into destruction. There were things that could have gone further, things that could have broken you completely, but they were stopped. You were protected in ways you did not even realize. This is why you are still here. This is why you are still standing. Because your breaking point was not the end, it was the doorway. Now, as you move forward from that moment, you will begin to see it differently. What once felt like weakness will begin to reveal itself as strength. What once felt like loss will begin to show itself as gain. Because it was in that moment that you stopped carrying what was never yours to carry alone. And now, you are no longer moving forward from a place of exhaustion. You are moving forward from a place of support. This is the breakthrough. Not a sudden external change, not an instant transformation of everything around you, but a deep, internal shift that changes how you stand, how you move, how you respond. You are no longer relying on limited strength. You are connected to a source that does not run out. And because of that, the same situations that once felt overwhelming will no longer have the same power over you. You will approach them differently. You will carry yourself differently. You will feel a steadiness that was not there before. This is what happens when a breaking point becomes a breakthrough. It does not erase what you went through, but it transforms what it means. And from this place forward, you will begin to experience something new. Not the constant pressure of holding everything together, but the quiet strength of knowing that you are being held. That is the shift. That is the breakthrough you have stepped into. There is a movement beginning in your life right now that does not depend on circumstances, approval, or perfect timing. It is a flow, steady, powerful, and unstoppable. And once it begins, it does not operate like the cycles you have known before. It does not rise and fall based on your energy levels. It does not stop when obstacles appear. It continues because its source is not earthly. Its source is divine. For so long, it felt like everything in your life came in waves, moments of progress followed by setbacks, moments of strength followed by exhaustion, moments of hope followed by uncertainty. You may have even grown used to that pattern, expecting that every time something good began, it would eventually slow down or disappear. But what is being released to you now is not a temporary surge. It is a continuous flow. This is where everything begins to change. Because when divine flow enters your life, it does not ask permission from your past. It does not consult your previous limitations. It overrides them. It establishes a new rhythm, a new pattern, one that is not based on scarcity but on supply. And that supply is not measured by how much you have. It is measured by the source that is now connected to you. Imagine a river that does not depend on rainfall to keep moving, a river that is fed from a deep, unseen spring that never dries up. That is the kind of flow being activated within you. It is not something that can be easily interrupted because it is not sustained by external conditions. Even when things around you shift, this flow will continue. This is why you will begin to notice a difference, not just in what happens around you, but in how you experience it. Situations that once felt draining will no longer take from you in the same way. Conversations that once left you exhausted will begin to feel lighter. Responsibilities that once overwhelmed you will begin to feel manageable. Not because they have changed, but because the flow within you has changed. You are no longer operating from a limited reserve. You are operating from a continuous supply. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over this flow, ensuring that what has been released is not disrupted. There is a protection surrounding this new rhythm in your life. Distractions that once pulled you away from your focus will begin to lose their influence. Negative patterns that once slowed you down will begin to fade. You are being aligned with a higher frequency of movement, one that carries you forward with clarity and purpose. There is also a sense of consistency that comes with this flow. It is not right. It is not forced. And it is not chaotic. It moves with a steady pace, one that allows you to grow without burning out. This is important, because what you are stepping into is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to sustain you. It is designed to support you over time, not just in a single moment. This is why you may begin to feel a quiet confidence rising within you. Not loud, not overwhelming, but steady. A sense that you can handle what comes next. A sense that you are not alone in what you are facing. A sense that something greater is working with you, not against you. And as this flow continues, it will begin to affect every area of your life. Your thoughts will become clearer. Your decisions will become more aligned. Your actions will carry more intention. You will begin to move with purpose, not pressure. With direction, not confusion. This is the evidence of the flow. It is not just about what you receive. It is about how you operate. You will no longer feel like you are constantly catching up or trying to recover. Instead, you will feel like you are moving forward with stability, with strength, with a sense of being supported at every step. And even when challenges arise, they will not stop the flow. They will not block it. They will simply become part of the path that the flow moves through, because what comes from heaven cannot be easily stopped. And what is being released to you now is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is not dependent on perfect conditions. It is strong. It is steady. And it is designed to carry you forward. So as you continue from this moment, understand this clearly. You are no longer trying to create momentum. You are stepping into a momentum that has already been established for you. A flow that cannot be stopped. And it is already moving within you. Something is awakening inside you right now, and it is not subtle anymore. What began as a quiet stirring is now becoming a noticeable shift, a surge of energy that does not come from rest, food, or anything physical, but from a deeper, spiritual source. This is the activation of supernatural energy, and it is arriving at the exact moment you need it most. You may have grown used to feeling tired, used to pushing through your days with limited strength, used to carrying a weight that never seemed to fully lift. That has been your normal for a while. But what is happening now is breaking that pattern. This is not a slow recovery. This is not a gradual improvement that takes weeks to notice. This is an activation, sudden, intentional, and powerful. It may begin in a way that surprises you. A moment where your mind feels clearer than it has in a long time. A moment where your body feels lighter, even if nothing around you has changed. A moment where motivation returns without you forcing it. That is not coincidence. That is the evidence of something being switched on within you. This energy is not chaotic or overwhelming. It is focused. It carries clarity with it. You will not just feel more active. You will feel more aligned. Thoughts that once felt scattered will begin to organize themselves. Decisions that once felt confusing will begin to feel obvious. There is a sharpening taking place, a realignment of your inner world that allows you to move forward without hesitation. Archangel Michael is actively present in this activation, ensuring that what is being released is pure, protected, and directed. This is not random energy. It is intentional empowerment. It is being guided so that it strengthens you without overwhelming you, so that it lifts you without throwing you into imbalance. There is precision in what is happening right now. This is also why you may begin to feel more alert, not just physically, but spiritually. You may notice things you did not notice before. You may sense shifts in your environment, in people, in situations. Your awareness is increasing, and with it comes a deeper understanding of what aligns with you and what does not. This is part of the activation. Weariness is being replaced, not just with energy, but with purpose. Because energy without direction can lead to chaos. But this energy is being paired with clarity. It is guiding you toward what matters, helping you focus on what is truly important, and giving you the strength to follow through. This is not about doing more. It is about doing what is right, with the strength to sustain it. There is also a restoration happening in your emotional state. The heaviness you once carried is beginning to lift. The sense of being overwhelmed is beginning to fade. In its place, there is a calm strength, a steady confidence that allows you to move forward without fear. This is how you know the activation is real. It does not create pressure. It creates peace. And as this continues to build, you will begin to recognize that you're no longer the same person who entered this moment. Your responses are changing. Your reactions are different. Your outlook is shifting. You are not just recovering. You are being transformed. This is the hour of your activation. Not tomorrow. Not eventually. Now. So do not ignore what you are feeling. Do not dismiss it as temporary. This is a divine release, and it is meant to be received fully. Allow it to move through you. Allow it to strengthen you. Allow it to guide you into what comes next. If you feel this surge, if you sense this awakening within you, then respond to it. Type "I am rising in divine energy" in the comments if you receive this. Blessing code 5226 is now being activated over your life. And as this supernatural energy begins to flow through you, understand that it is not meant to stay confined within you. It is meant to move outward, to touch others, to reach those who are still in the place you just came out of. Right now, you have the opportunity to become part of that movement. I feel the fire within me, and I choose to let it flow beyond me. As it is written, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. This is not just a promise. It is a living exchange that is happening even now. When you act in alignment with this flow, you open the door for even greater strength to return to you. There are links placed in the description and a QR code available for those who feel led to act in this moment. This is your chance to turn this activation into an impact. Step into it now. Let your response become a channel through which this energy continues to move, touching lives, restoring hope, and carrying light where it is needed most. There are things you lost in this past season that no one fully understands but you. Not everything was visible. Not everything could be explained. Some losses were quiet, peace that slowly faded, confidence that weakened over time, joy that became harder to access. Other losses may have been more tangible, opportunities that slipped away, relationships that changed, time and energy that felt like it was poured out with nothing in return. And deep within, there may have been a question that lingered: will I ever get that back? What is being spoken over your life now is not just about moving forward. It is about restoration. And not a partial restoration, not a minimal return, but a divine restoration that goes beyond what was lost. Because heaven does not restore in a limited way. When something is restored under divine authority, it returns with increase, with purpose, and with a depth that it did not carry before. This is why your past season had to unfold the way it did. Not to take from you permanently, but to create space for something greater to come in its place. There is a difference between replacing something and restoring something. Replacement gives you something similar. Restoration gives you something that carries the value of what was lost, but elevated, strengthened, and aligned with your future. What is coming to you is not just a return. It is an upgrade. You may begin to notice this in unexpected ways. A sense of peace returning to you, but deeper than before. A clarity of mind that feels stronger and more stable. A confidence that is not based on circumstances, but rooted within you. These are not small changes. These are signs that restoration has begun. Archangel Michael is actively guarding this process, ensuring that what is being restored is not interfered with or diminished. There is a protection over your restoration, a covering that prevents the same patterns from repeating in the same way. What you receive now is not meant to be lost again. It is meant to remain, to grow, and to support you in what comes next. There is also restoration of time taking place. This does not mean that the past is being rewritten, but it does mean that what felt like lost time is being compensated. Opportunities will begin to align in ways that make up for what you thought you missed. Progress will come in ways that feel accelerated, as if things are moving faster than expected. This is how divine restoration works. It does not just give back, it redeems. Even the lessons you learned in your season of loss are becoming part of your restoration. The strength you gained, the awareness you developed, the resilience you built, these are all assets now. They are not reminders of what you went through. They are tools that will support you moving forward. This is why nothing was wasted. Every moment, every challenge, every struggle has been gathered and is now being woven into something meaningful. What once felt like scattered pieces are coming together into a complete picture. And that picture is one of restoration, not loss. There may still be moments where you look back and feel the weight of what happened. That is natural. But those moments will begin to lose their hold on you. They will no longer define how you feel or how you move forward. Instead, they will become part of your testimony, a reminder not of what you lost, but of what you gained through the process. And as this restoration continues, you will begin to see new things enter your life that you did not expect. New opportunities, new connections, new paths opening before you. These are not random. They are part of the restoration. They are aligned with who you are now, not who you were before. Because you are not the same person anymore. You have been shaped, refined, strengthened. And what is being restored to you now is designed to match that new version of you. So do not limit your expectations based on your past. Do not assume that what is coming will look exactly like what was lost. Be open to something greater, something deeper, something more aligned with your purpose. Restoration is not about going backward. It is about moving forward with everything you thought you lost, now returned in a way that supports your future. And that restoration has already begun. There is a covering being placed over you in this very moment. Something that cannot be seen with the natural eye but can be felt in the quiet assurance rising within you. It is a shield, strong, intentional, and unbreakable. This is not a symbolic idea. This is an active protection being established over your life, and Archangel Michael stands at the center of it. For a long time, it may have felt like you were exposed, like you had to face everything on your own. Situations came at you unexpectedly. Challenges seemed to rise without warning. At times, it may have felt like no matter how much you tried to guard your peace, something always found a way to disturb it. That sense of vulnerability had been part of your journey, but it is not your future. Because now, protection is being activated. Archangel Michael is known as a guardian, a defender, one who stands between you and what seeks to harm you. And in this season, that role is becoming very real in your life. There are things that will not reach you the way they once did. There are influences that will no longer have access to your space, your mind, your energy. This is not by chance. It is by design. The shield does not mean that challenges will disappear completely. It means that they will no longer have the same impact. What once overwhelmed you will now be filtered. What once disrupted you will now be deflected. There is a boundary being established, one that separates you from what is not meant to touch you. You may begin to notice this in subtle ways. Situations that would have escalated before may now dissolve quickly. Conversations that once strained you may no longer carry the same weight. Even your thoughts may begin to feel different, clearer, calmer, less affected by negativity. This is the evidence of protection at work. There is also a sense of confidence that comes with being protected. Not a loud or forceful confidence, but a quiet knowing that you are not alone, that you are being supported, that there is something greater standing with you. This confidence allows you to move forward without fear, to make decisions without constant doubt, to step into new spaces without hesitation. Archangel Michael's presence is not passive. It is active and precise. There are things being intercepted before they ever reach you. There are outcomes being redirected in your favor. There are unseen battles being handled on your behalf. You may not always be aware of these moments, but they are happening consistently. This is why you will begin to feel a shift in how you respond to what once affected you. Instead of reacting with stress or fear, you will find yourself remaining steady. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you will feel grounded. This is not something you have to force. It is a natural result of being covered. There is also a strengthening of your discernment that comes with this protection. You will begin to recognize what aligns with you and what does not more quickly. You will sense when something is not right, and you will have the clarity to step away from it without hesitation. This is part of the shield. It is not just external protection. It is internal awareness. And as this continues, you will realize that you are no longer moving through life in the same way. You are not exposed in the way you once were. You are not carrying the same level of vulnerability. You are covered, guided, and supported in a way that changes how you experience everything around you. This does not make you untouchable, but it does make you protected. And there is a difference. You are still living, still moving, still engaging with the world, but now there is a layer of divine protection surrounding you, ensuring that what is not meant for you does not take hold. So as you step forward from this moment, do so with confidence. Not because everything around you is perfect, but because you are no longer facing it alone. The shield is in place. Archangel Michael stands watch, and you are safe to move forward into what is being prepared for you. There is a difference between experiencing a moment of renewal and living in a state of continuous renewal. What has been released over your life is not meant to fade after a single experience or a temporary shift. It is meant to become your new way of being, a steady, ongoing flow that supports you daily, strengthens you consistently, and aligns you with a deeper sense of peace and purpose. This is where your awareness becomes important, because what has been activated within you is already present, already moving, already working. But walking in it requires recognition. It requires you to notice the changes happening within you and to align your thoughts, your actions, and your focus with this new reality. This is not about striving to maintain something fragile. It is about remaining connected to something that is already stable. You may begin to notice that your energy feels different from day to day, but the foundation beneath it remains steady. Even on days where you feel a little slower, a little quieter, there is still a sense of support within you. That is the sign of continuous renewal. It does not disappear when you are tired. It does not vanish when things become challenging. It remains, quietly sustaining you from within. This is why you no longer have to fear returning to the place of deep exhaustion you once experienced. A season has served its purpose, and now you are stepping into something more balanced, more sustainable. You are learning how to move without overextending, how to give without depleting yourself, how to rest without feeling like everything will fall apart. There is a rhythm being established in your life, a rhythm that does not rush you, does not pressure you, but carries you forward at the right pace. This rhythm is guided, not forced. It allows you to grow steadily, to build strength over time, and to remain aligned with what truly matters. Archangel Michael continues to stand as a guardian in this phase, not just protecting you, but also helping you remain aligned. There is a gentle guidance present, a quiet direction that helps you make choices that support your renewal rather than drain it. You may feel this as an inner knowing, a sense of clarity that leads you toward what is right for you and away from what is not. This is where your participation becomes powerful, because while the renewal is being given to you, your alignment with it allows it to fully take root in your life. When you choose peace over pressure, you strengthen that renewal. When you choose clarity over confusion, you deepen that alignment. When you choose to move with intention rather than urgency, you allow this new rhythm to fully establish itself. You are no longer in survival mode. You are no longer trying to simply make it through each day. You are now living from a place of renewal. And from this place, everything begins to feel different. Your thoughts become more focused. Your emotions become more stable. Your actions become more intentional. You are no longer reacting to everything around you. You are responding with awareness and strength. This is also where gratitude begins to play a role. Not forced gratitude, not something you say out of obligation, but a natural recognition of what is changing within you. As you notice the ways in which you are being supported, strengthened, and guided, gratitude begins to rise naturally. And that gratitude strengthens your connection to this flow even more. It creates a cycle, renewal leading to awareness, awareness leading to gratitude, gratitude deepening the renewal. This is how it continues. This is how it becomes a lifestyle rather than a moment. And as you walk in this continuous renewal, you will begin to see how it impacts not just you, but everything around you. The way you interact with others will change. The way you handle challenges will evolve. The way you see yourself will become clearer and more confident. You are not who you were before. You have been restored, strengthened, and aligned with something greater. And now, you are walking in it. Step by step, day by day, in a flow that does not run out. This is your new reality, and it is here to stay. Beloved one, as this moment settles around you, feel the calm that is gently taking hold of your spirit. This is not the same urgency that called your attention at the beginning. This is different. This is peace. A deep, steady reassurance that what has been spoken over your life is already in motion, already unfolding, already secured. You do not have to strive for it anymore. You do not have to chase it, force it, or question it. The promise hath been released, and it stands firm. Your oil will not run dry. Let that truth rest within you for a moment. Not as something you are trying to believe, but as something you are allowing yourself to receive. Even now, there is a quiet restoration happening within your mind, your body, your spirit. The tension that once filled your thoughts is loosening. The heaviness that once sat on your shoulders is lifting. You are not the same as you were when this message first reached you. Something has changed, and that change is not temporary. It is rooted in a divine source that does not fluctuate, does not weaken, does not disappear. The same power that began this renewal is the same power that will sustain it. You are not being left to maintain this on your own. You are being carried in it, supported through it, and guided by it. Archangel Michael remains present, not as a distant figure, but as a steady guardian over what has been established in your life. There is a covering over your peace, a protection over your strength, a safeguarding over your renewal. What has been given to you will not be easily shaken. So take a breath in this moment. Release the need to worry about what comes next. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into a prepared path. Even if you cannot see every detail ahead, you can move forward with confidence, knowing that what you need will meet you along the way. Strength will rise when it is required. Clarity will come when decisions need to be made. Peace will settle when your mind begins to wander. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone. And now, more than ever, you are being reminded of the truth in a way that you can feel, not just hear. Let this be the place where you rest, not in exhaustion, but in assurance. Not in fear, but in faith. Not in striving, but in receiving. This is your new position. This is your new flow. Your oil will continue to flow. Your strength will continue to rise. Your spirit will continue to be renewed. And as you move forward from this moment, carry this knowing with you, not as a fragile hope, but as a steady truth that remains with you in every step you take. If your heart is at peace right now, if you feel this calm assurance settling within you, then respond to it. Type "I walk in divine renewal" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 8819 is now sealed over your life. And as this peace fills you, understand this: what has touched your life today is not meant to stop with you. There are countless souls still standing in the same place of exhaustion you once stood in, waiting for a message like this to reach them at the right moment. Now you are part of that flow. I have received, and now I release so others may be restored. As the living word declares, the one who sows generously will also reap generously. This is not just written, it is being spoken over you right now. When you give into this mission, you are sowing oil into empty vessels, light into dark places, strength into weary hearts. The links are already placed in the description, and the QR code is right before you for this very purpose. This is your moment to act, not out of obligation, but out of alignment. Step into this divine exchange now. Release your seed, and watch how heaven multiplies it back into your life in ways you cannot imagine.